Player and the Geek by Little Miss Cliche. Chapter 2. It took only a moment to realize my vision was utterly blurred. Apparently my eyes hadn't miraculously been healed. Surprise, surprise there. Not really, considering in all my dreams I never actually needed glasses, and that should have been my number one hint that hadn't been real. Plus the fact that I was very shy and quiet, and usually stuttered whenever I tried to talk to Christian, should have been my next hint. That had all been a dream. A wonderful dream, yes, but a dream nonetheless. Guys like Christian Steele weren't into girls like me. Well, at least, not until university. Only 2 more years left of high school, and then I was going away to university to major in psychology. I could not wait. At least then I would be envied because of my brain, and not pitied. Sighing heavily, I reached over to the bedside table and grabbed my large, mammoth-sized glasses. Were they very fashionable? No. But unfortunately for me, my parents didn't have health coverage and could only afford to buy the ugliest, most unattractive glasses there. They were on sale for 75% off because nobody would touch them with a 50-foot pole. I glanced down at Carla, just like I had in my dream. And just like in my dream, she was sleeping with that small smile on her face. My stomach growled again. I bit my bottom lip. To go downstairs or not to go downstairs? That was the question. I went downstairs. It was almost just like in my dream, except this time I was wearing my glasses, and I wasn't wearing short, chick boxers and a sleazy tank top. Instead, I was wearing a full pajama suit. I can never actually wear clothes that revealed too much skin. It made me feel insecure and uncomfortable, even when I'm sleeping. Eventually, I managed to make it downstairs, once again unnoticed. I just grabbed the milk when I heard his voice again. This time, I dropped the milk.
No, they're sleeping, so just be quiet.
His voice was coming from the foyer, but it wasn't low, deep, or husky. It was actually soft, with a hint of amusement in it, but he cut himself off when the milk crashed to the floor.
What was that?
It sounds like it came from the kitchen, a girl's voice replied.
Okay. He seemed hesitant. Wait here a minute.
I panicked. I don't know why, but after that dream, I just couldn't bear to see him again. At that moment, especially when he was with another girl. The dream was still too fresh, and the fake memory too vivid, so I ran towards the stairs and slipped on the milk. I flew in the air and landed hard on my butt just as Christian rocked through the door. He stared at me in surprise, and then blinked twice very slowly before amusement began to creep onto his face. His trademark smirk rose at the left corner of his lips, causing a slight dimple to surface. My heart throbbed with admiration, just as my cheeks flushed with embarrassment. My butt was soaked with milk, as were some of my thighs, but I still couldn't stop staring at him. This was my curse. Whenever Christian was around, I couldn't manage to do anything but stare at him like a fool. He was just so breathtakingly gorgeous. The way the green specks danced around in his bright blue eyes, when they lit up with delight, always caused my stomach to flutter. He had a squared jaw and a slightly crooked nose that managed to add a bit of rugged manliness to his boyish beauty. He had this contradictory essence about him. When you looked at him, he seemed charmingly approachable, and yet dangerous. People loved him, but they also feared him. It made sense, though. He was 6 feet tall and all nicely toned muscles. He was every girl's Prince Charming, and every guy's worst competition. If there were ever a guy in the world who was perfect, it was Christian Steele. That I had no doubt of. Even when his lips were moving the way they were just now, he was perfect. The way his lips curled on the O's and how they curved on the E's. And, oh my god, he's talking to me, and I hadn't heard a thing. Hello? He waved his hand in front of my face, and I realized he had a look of concern on his face. Huh? I asked stupidly. Are you okay? He bent down in front of me. You didn't hit your head, did you? No. He raised an eyebrow.
Are you sure? You're stuttering.
I stutter. I didn't. He smiled at me. But it wasn't his trademark smirk. Instead, he was looking at me the way an adult looks at a child when they are trying to encourage them to do something. I felt pathetic. I was a girl who can go on and on about the difference between psychodynamic theories versus cognitive. I knew the historical evolution of psychology like I knew the alphabets. I had a 4.0 grade point average, and yet I couldn't manage to say the word no. Pathetic.
You are Kara's friend, right?
He bit his lip to think for a moment.
Sherry. No, Charlotte.
I wanted to yell, you should know this. I've been friends with her for 8 years. But instead, I sputtered out, Charlie.
Your name's Charlie, or you prefer Charlie?
Yes.
He chuckled. Yes, what?
I prefer.
Well, Charlie, would you like help out of that milk, or are you happy where you are?
He stood up, and that mischievous smirk appeared back on his face. My heart fluttered. But then realization smacked me in the face. Christian Steele was standing there, staring at me sitting in a pool of spilt milk. What was I still doing there? I jumped to my feet so quickly I almost lost my balance. I stared at him with large, bewildered eyes before running towards the stairs. I didn't turn around, but I could feel his eyes on my back as I raced up them, not even bothering to be quiet this time. Well, if I ever wanted Christian to notice me before, I guess I finally got my wish. There was no way he was going to forget that stuttering idiot who sat on his kitchen floor in spilt milk, gaping at him like a complete imbecile. To be continued. I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Player and the Geek. Please come back for episode 3.